Hi, this is Broderick Williams. Join in with me on King and I Life podcast on February the 6th at 6:30 p.m. We will be discussing how we interact with today's modern law enforcement.
All right, everybody. We want to welcome y'all back to the King and I Life podcast. As we kick this thing off, we're going to do this segment on interacting with today's law enforcement.
Heavy topic, man. Heavy topic.
Got a lot of people, chiming in and hitting me up saying, hey, I want to be a part of that one. I think a lot of people got stories to tell and how they've handled themselves in certain situations. So, anyway, we're going to get into it today. I'll let you take the lead on this one.
Oh, before we jump into it, as my co-host said, we are back. It's the King and I Life podcast hosted by myself, So Touch the Poet, Son Solex, on this little topic right here. Definitely. Well, before I say that, we appreciate all of our listeners, all of our supporters, everything that y'all have brought to us. We greatly appreciate it. And on top of that, you can find us on every major podcast platform. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. We got big things coming. But without further ado, we're going to get into this topic of interacting with today's law enforcement. This topic is actually going to go live on Saturday at 6:30 p.m. We have a guest, former law enforcement officer with us on this live segment. So definitely be prepared for that. And if you are law enforcement or you have experiences, definitely shoot us an email, KINGANDEYE369@gmail.com, or just join us on a live broadcast so that you can chime in, give us your feedback, and help us get through this topic. So to kick it off, the negative interactions with law enforcement are not a new subject of wide debate. With the wide use of cell phones, body cams, and other means of recording these interactions, more light is being brought to what many rightfully define as abuse of power, over-policing in non-white communities, and the blatant prejudices that have been lurking in many of the police departments across the country. We're going to discuss our views on how changes need to be between the police and communities.
For sure.
So we're not going to get into great detail on the topics that we have, but we're going to, give a brief overview on some of the things. And one of those things are, from your opinion, as parents, what do you think we should do to give our children and our peers and whatever the case may be, what tools do you think we should instill in them as far as interacting with the police?
I would say as a parent, and as a uncle, I would definitely want to instill in our children that, one, don't be scared of these people. They put on their pants one leg at a time, just like we do. Two, I would definitely say, just treat these people with respect, because you don't know what kind of day they have had. They could have, for all we know, caught a burglar or caught someone, who had a firearm, or someone who was, involved with illegal drugs. We just don't know what kind of day they've had previously to, interacting with you. So one is definitely be mindful, choose your words respectfully, but don't fear these people at all. Answer their questions directly, clearly. And they're gonna, some of them will try to play games with you, especially because you're a minor.
Yeah.
But, if you feel like things are getting out of hand, to say, officer, I would like to have my parents present, or one of my parents present, because I'm a minor.
Yeah.
That's the law, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but another thing is definitely be, aware of your surroundings, because when you're a kid, you're so involved in what you got going on right in front of you, that you almost have to teach your kids, street codes and street slangs,
Hmm.
that street awareness,
Right.
because a lot of people are just going on by the course of their day, not even paying attention to what's going on around them. So that would definitely be, a few things that I would try to talk with them about and then instill with them.
Yeah, I agree. I think another thing is, at the end of the day, law enforcement officers, they're adults. So I would definitely say that one thing that we could instill in our kids, that at the end of the day, you're talking to an adult. Um, Respect them as an adult first, first and foremost. If you're not going to talk to me any old kind of way as your parent, don't go out there talking to them in that manner either. Um, and as you said, you don't know what kind of day they had. Um, but at the same time, whatever day they had is not your problem. It's not your business. Your business is, being respectful and not doing anything to put yourself in danger. Um, and, and, and definitely, like you said, be aware of your surroundings. Um, Situational awareness, as we say in the military, is everything. You be mindful of where you are and what you're doing, and who's watching you and who's around. It's sad that has to be something that a child has to be mindful of. They have so many other things to worry about, and the last thing that they should be worried about is you know being in a position where they can be harmed by a police officer by just minding their business as a child.
Exactly. I mean, these people, they're paid to actually to protect you, but as we all know, that's not necessarily the case in all situations.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Again, it's just like you're saying, it's about respect. You got to
mm-hmm.
give respect in order to get respect.
Yeah,
Again, with these kids, they again can get caught up in the moment so much of what it is they're doing and interacting with their friends and stuff that they don't stop and think, okay, wait a minute, I might want to check my tone, or I might want to pull back on the smart mouth, just get through the situation, because at the end of the day, it's all about you going home and them going about their business.
yeah,
So
yeah. I think
definitely got to be mindful of how you present yourself.
yeah. Another component to that is instilling in our kids that you know what someone else experienced with law enforcement is not your experience. You can empathize with what someone else went through, especially if they look like you or they're a minority of any other racial background, but don't own what they've been through because you have not experienced it. That's one thing that you know I had to take in mind into context and really think about, because me myself, I've never been treated wrongly by any law enforcement officer. Um, I felt it was probably, I would say, maybe one time where I felt I was being harassed, but it wasn't like over the top harassment. I was just coming from an area making a turn, totally legal, and the joker pulled me over, and I'm like, yo, what are you doing? But that was like maybe what 15, 20 years ago. But my mindset was, oh, you doing this because I'm black. Um, be that as it may, we have to teach our kids that just because you hear this in a rap song, you hear this on a movie, you see this on Instagram, Facebook, or wherever you see that, don't own what you see. You need to base your situation on your own experiences and not anybody else's, because you walk around with that attitude because you see this in the news, you hear such and such say this, whether they're famous or not, they're talking about their experiences with the police. You don't know the totality of that entire situation, so don't own anything but your situation.
Exactly. I mean, I've had several run-ins with the police. Not in the instance of, breaking a law
Hmm.
to a certain extent of, I'm going to get locked up or anything like that. But um, certain situations I've been pulled over by the police, um, some situations justified, some other situations not justified.
Hmm.
But, again, I think that you have good cops and you have so not so good cops. Like some of them, they just look for a reason to pull you over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think at the end of the day, um, again, it's all about how you carry yourself and what you're saying to these police officers in these situations. Again, back when I was younger, I wasn't always the nicest person that you want to pull over. So I was a little, I had a little smart tone to me.
Don't knucklehead.
Yeah, I popped off a couple times, but I think I was justified in doing so. Don't pull me over just because of, you know, the color of my skin.
Right.
Don't do that. When you see a young black man with a nice fancy car, don't always assume that this person is doing something illegal to have that car.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll get more into that later on.
Yes, we
But
will. Yes, we will.
we just want to give you guys a little taste of what's to come.
Yeah.
And we look forward to hearing your interactions with the police departments and police associations.
Even not even your interactions, just your overall thoughts, because your each person's interactions are important, but we also have to get into the mindset of what people think overall, what they feel overall, what they actually know overall. Um, because I know that you've said in previous episodes, the news is not always showing what is, um, and we know that the news is, when it comes to police interactions, they more so show the negative interactions, which to a degree, um, when it comes to how they treat us, I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. It may be for ratings or whatever the case may be, but the thing about that is, the one thing that I can say I appreciate, for lack of a better term, about that is they're showing exactly what's going on. But the problem is, the powers that be aren't doing anything about it. Um, but yeah, we have a lot of talking points on this topic, and definitely invite y'all to join us on Saturday, February 6th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. If you know anybody that's in law enforcement, or you are in law enforcement, we please invite you to join the conversation. Call in. We'll have the call in number up. Um, we're gonna be live on Facebook and YouTube and Tumblr. So definitely join us on this conversation. Um, it's gonna be a long one.
Most definitely, most definitely.
It's
And
gonna
again, this whole discussion is about learning.
Yes,
This
yes,
isn't a session about bashing anyone or um, making someone feel, that we're coming for the throat or something like that. Is totally not about that.
nah, not
This
at
is
all.
about us as people, you know, learning better ways to handle certain situations when we're dealing with law enforcement officers.
Yeah,
No more, no less.
yeah, definitely. And one of the biggest things that I would like to see come out of this is this discussion, you know, keep going further. I mean, we're not in a position to make great changes everywhere, but if we can, push this narrative, this message out to the people that are on this conversation with us, maybe they can spread it into other areas and amplify it more than amplified as it is now. So definitely,
Definitely, definitely. This
definitely,
is about applied changes,
yes,
not just changes.
that's
I don't want to hear changes. Well, we need to change this. We need to change that. Can do that all day. Talk about it, but
right.
You have to apply the
Definitely.
information to make the changes.
Yep. So definitely, so we're not gonna go too much into this because if we start going, we're gonna keep on going.
Oh man, will we?
Man, we definitely want to leave the meat of this conversation for Saturday. Um, we definitely are going to Saturday's gonna be live, and it's gonna be more than likely it's gonna be more than one part. Definitely catch us on the podcast audio because we're gonna jump into this as well, just so that we can cover all of the issues, all of the bases, and get more feedback from all avenues. Um, I'll probably put up a poll up, a survey up, um, no later than Friday, so that I can solicit some feedback ahead of time. Just in case people can't catch it, or what some people are shy about coming on live, whatever the case may be, because we definitely want to cover as many bases as we want. I need to stop rambling. King and I Life podcast. Again, catch us on every major podcast platform: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Um, yeah, let me shut up because I'm going.
Yeah. On that YouTube though, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Let's get the numbers up.
Definitely, baby. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, that's it, man.
For sure.
See
So
y'all
again,
Saturday.
this is the King and I Life podcast,
Going strong,
bringing you
baby.
that
Worldwide.
real.
Worldwide.
For sure. And again, we want to thank all of our foreign listeners. We are in 8 different countries now.
Oh my God.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, Russia, France, Australia, Mexico. I'm missing something. I don't know. Russia? I don't know. We all over the world.
We'll get it.
All right,
US.
we out of here, baby.
Peace.